forge welding, again, as you do quite a bit, as you first might start on a manufactured shoe and just weld the heels together, you get the practice of being able to know what happens as you weld, how much you need to overlap. Usually I don't have to overlap a lot, but I need to make sure that I overlap enough. The temperature has to be right, or the heat has to be right. It's got to be hot enough as you pull it out of the fire. It does happen where sometimes the weld will break. You have to make a decision whether or not you go forward or you just start over. And sometimes it's easier to start over because of how much the metal has been thinned down. If the temperature is not right, if it's not hot enough, and you bring it out and you keep hitting on it, you're just going to thin it out. And so I found from experience that I like to be able to either just make a decision. Am I going to keep going, or am I going to start over? And a lot of times it's much easier to start over. You recognize what the problem was, and then how to be able to correct it, how to go forward. And so that problem doesn't happen again the second time that you start over with a different piece of metal. But sometimes it does happen where it doesn't stick. And so I found I usually try and do 3 welds where I might get it first stuck on one side, I do it on the opposite side, and then I take a general heat on flux on both sides and make sure that I've got it stuck. But again, there's got to be, the forge has got to be hot. And so you have to turn up your PSI a little bit more in order to be able to have a little bit hotter forge in order to be able to weld. Then you can turn it back down once you have it welded. It's important too when you're forge welding that after you've done that, that you don't work it too cold, where you might run the risk of breaking the weld if you don't have a very good weld. But if you do, then you can work it for quite a while as you're working, as you might be flooring or stamping some holes in the shoe as you go through that process. But it's important to recognize the right temperature and the right heat. And again, as you have different experiences, you understand, yes, that would work, or no, it won't. And again, how you're going to go forward if you're going to make that decision or not. So.